would be the SBIR and STTR programs. This is our Small Business Innovation Research and Technology Transfer programs, and how they're being administered. So we know that China can circumvent some of the ways we do business with small businesses. They can invest in small businesses in the United States. They can force technology transfer with their ownership of some of these small businesses or parts of small businesses. So what we have to do is make sure that we have strong and enforceable due diligence protections, meaning if we can find those links to China, we disallow them from receiving federal taxpayer monies for their programs. But unfortunately, the way the system is right now, with SBIR mills that are out there, we do see China taking advantage of this. And that was why we held this hearing, to really dive into some of the solutions to prevent China from taking advantage of us.
Well, fortunately, a president's in the Oval Office who understands that all too well, as we see him, unlike Joe Biden, allowing spy balloons, secret police stations, farmland from China, all of that. Let's talk a little bit about President Trump. He's making some comments today. He'll be actually at 4 o'clock at the Fed. And Jerome Powell, this $2.5 billion renovation project. It's pretty wild. White House says it's in violation of planning requirements. There's questions about fraud, misstatements on the Hill by Powell himself. I want to play a little bit of the president in the Oval Office here.
I think he's done a bad job, but he's going to be out pretty soon anyway. In eight months, he'll be out. But I call him too late. He's too late all the time. He should have lowered interest rates many times.
All right, today's going to be pretty interesting. Jerome Powell, his term's not up. Should he step down, Senator Ernst?
Well, I think that there are a lot of questions that can be asked about this. And if we can look at the management, just in the example that you gave, with the renovation of the Fed, and I call it the Taj Mahal on the Mall, it's at a 30% cost overrun at a cost of $2.5 billion for renovations. And if this is the way Jerome Powell is managing a renovation, it begs the question of so many other issues. So I'm interested to hear more about the president's visit to the Fed. But what I can say, as someone who's been watching taxpayer dollars, this is an enormous boondoggle that our taxpayers are being forced to pay for. So Jerome Powell has a lot of questions to answer. Anxious to hear how this visit goes.
Yeah, you and many others. I'd like to talk about these bombshell declassified documents. There are the ones Tulsi Gabbard released regarding President Obama and what was going on, the Russia manufactured hoax. What does accountability look like? Because now, obviously, it's in the hands of the DOJ, and there's questions about presidential immunity. There's questions, about is it treason or what exactly may come to fall on the people who Gabbard say were completely complicit in all of this. What are your thoughts on what Americans need to see to actually feel like the justice was served here for people who did this to President Trump?
Yes, this is absolutely un-American to weaponize our intelligence agencies. And that's exactly what we saw in the Obama administration with this made-up Russia hoax. I'm extremely grateful for Director Tulsi Gabbard at the DNI for bringing transparency to this issue and providing those documents to the Department of Justice. So whoever is ultimately responsible for this, I hope that they are held to the full extent of the law. But again, the American people aren't having it. And we saw that they really saw through what it was. It was just a bunch of made-up charges against President Trump. They saw through that, and they reelected President Donald J. Trump this last November. But again, we need to go back, make sure we understand what happened, make sure it never happens again. And I'll just reemphasize that this is completely un-American. And thankfully, we have a president that is embracing full transparency. We'll get to the bottom of it. you.